Cape Jewel, and this is the Rack Attack, your favorite Monday comic book show. Probably, maybe, give or take, I hope so. Where I count down 5 of my favorite comics from the week that was, and let you know what great comics you should be reading. So without further ado, let's hop into our first comic of the week, which is Deadpool #1.
The Merc with the Mouth came back in a big bad way this week. Wade Wilson is now running his own mercenary company. Geez, he must have got the idea from playing way too much Ground Zeroes, called, get this, Deadpool's Heroes for Hire, a name that totally pisses off Luke Cage. Wade is also rolling in the dough after merchandising his name and likeness so much that he can bankroll the Uncanny Avengers team. This newfound fame and status, as you might have guessed, has already gone completely to his head, and he's starting to make rash and reckless decisions, even going so far as to cut himself off from Agent Preston and the rest of his surrogate friends and family. The premiere issue was loaded with a ton of great cameos from D-list Marvel favorites like Madcap, Slapstick, Fool Killer, and even Stingray. Writer Jerry Duggan also grabbed my interest right out of the gate with Deadpool claiming to bring his parents' killers to justice. Just one problem with that, he was the one who killed them. Oops.
Next up on the attack, you love him, I love him, that hooded archer, it's Green Arrow #46.
I freaking love Green Arrow, I always have. He is by far my favorite superhero, and after the short and, let's be honest, disastrous run before this one wherein they tried to make the comic feel more like the Arrow TV show, I am forever grateful that Benjamin Percy and team have not only brought the character back to prominence in my mind, but given him back his politics and so many other great Green Arrow staples that have been missing for way too long. This newest storyline sees Ollie teamed up with Tarantula to rescue his dog George from an evil cartel boss obsessed with bones during Isla del Muerto, so you know, just classic superhero stuff. I love the design of the Bone Hunters and especially their boss El Jefe, who is more or less a walking, talking calavera. So cool. This is a great book with a great artistic team going on here. Definitely a treat for me to read every month, and I hope you like it too.
Next up on the attack, we're checking in with that merry band of mutants. It's the Extraordinary X-Men issue #1.
Yes, the first shot fired in a brand new generation of X-Men stories, and it's all being brought to us by one of my favorite writers currently working today, fellow Canuck Jeff Lemire. This is the book that hits you with a lot of new stuff right out of the gate. The Terrigen Mist that grants the Inhumans their powers is also making mutants sick, but more than that, it's making them sterile, which means no new mutants can be born for the foreseeable future. Storm has turned the X-Mansion into a giant haven for sick mutants and their family, but they're all being taxed to the breaking point. You see, Cyclops did something terrible in the 8-month gap between Secret Wars and now, and because of it, public opinion on mutants has turned against them in a giant way, which means the X-Men are going to need to go on a huge recruitment drive if they're ever going to make it. One of these mutants turns out to be none other than Old Man Logan, having survived the collapse of the multiverse at the end of Secret Wars. Good for him, and good for us reading. For my full review, of course, be sure to check out the annotations up above on this and all the other comics featured on the Rack Attack.
Helping round out the Rack Attack for the week of November 4th, 2015, we have Hercules #1.
The Marvel Universe version of the Greek hero Hercules has had a pretty interesting run, from being shown as a drunken, horny oaf of a man to taking over the Hulk book for a bit, and yet still honestly being more of a good guy and more likable than the DC version of Hercules. Here we see something interesting. Dan Abnett has started off this series where Herc has more or less gone into business for himself with an A-Team style detective agency wherein he helps out everyday people in need with their problems in exchange for not money but little knickknacks, in keeping with the whole demigod theme. The big conceit of this new series seemed to be that Hercules, being one of the oldest heroes of myth, is trying really hard to find his place in this new world order where we have heroes who wear capes and masks who fly around like Iron Man. He's also helping out one of his buddies, Gilgamesh, old Gil, who's in a slump of depression right now, and Hercules is trying to help get back on his feet. It's a funny book with great action and a surprising amount of heart. Definitely check this one out if you're in the market for something a little bit different.
And finally this week on the Rack Attack, we have making his very first appearance on the show, which, well, technically because we're only 3 episodes in, everybody's making their first appearance. It's the Midnighter with issue #6.
Steve Orlando's new Midnighter series, in my mind, has been a real winner for DC, not only because it stars a kick-ass, morally complex gay man, but it's also damn near the only thing keeping the Wildstorm characters alive in people's minds after the failures of stuff like Grifter and Stormwatch. I mean, Midnighter's basically out there just doing it all on his own. This new story finds the Midnighter brought to a small town to avenge the father of his newest boyfriend. There's a lot of great stuff in here about suburbia and coming out to one's family, but there's also bikers getting brutally beaten up. I mean, so what's not to love, right? And you know what? That's just the tip of the iceberg. I really did think reading this that this was just going to be a one-and-done story, but the book takes a really unexpected turn when the mystery bad guy is revealed to be, wait for it, freaking Prometheus. Yes, that's right, a major Batman baddie making his new 52 debut in the pages of the Midnighter. How cool is that, I ask you? I cannot wait to see where this fight goes in future issues. I mean, think about it, a guy with a computer for a brain versus a supervillain who can recreate all the greatest moves and tactics of heroes and villains alike.
Well, everybody, that will just about do it for another wonderful episode of the Rack Attack for Wednesday, November 4th, 2015. As always, down in the comments section down below, I want you to sound off. Tell me what were your favorite comics of the week, and what are you really looking forward to next week. Until next time, everybody, I will see you around.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll feel like checking out some more videos I have on offer here at Cape Joel.